Oh, well, today we're going to look at one of the big reasons that you probably feel stuck some of the time, or maybe a lot of the time, when it comes to applying manifestation principles, the kind that Neville talks about, that Abraham Hicks talks about, that we see all over YouTube, your favorite YouTuber talks about, why that stuff so often frustrates you. And why you're like, man, I'm trying my hardest to do this and it's not working. Why is this working for other people and it's not working for me? You come to this channel for the solutions. We start where others end, as I like to say. I wrote a book 4 years ago called The Law of Attraction Simplified. It could also be called The Law of Assumption Simplified if you're a Nevilleite, because they're the same thing, guys, if we're getting real. That talks about this point we're going to discuss in this video in much more detail. If you want a free copy of that book, link is in the description. You get a free copy, because I'm going to cover it briefly here, but you're going to understand it a lot more if you read the book or listen to the audiobook. This is the big thing, guys, that people miss in this manifestation space, especially online. There is this, you could say, like group think mentality on YouTube, on Reddit, on Instagram, when it comes to manifestation and the law of attraction and the law of assumption. Oh, I'm going to put it out to the universe, or I'm going to assume the state, or I'm going to be in that high frequency and I'm going to get what I want. And everybody gets all woo-woo, high vibe about it. And then people actually fail. But when people fail, they don't talk about it. So they feel too ashamed. They feel like they personally did something wrong. This works for other people. I see people online talking about it, even though I've never met these people. They're just an anonymous person posting, or somebody, selling me something. Oh, it's working for them apparently, but it's not working for me. So I'm wrong, right? People unfortunately don't understand that this groupthink stuff is delusional and not how these manifestation ideas actually work for 99% of us. If you're actually implementing law of attraction ideas, law of assumption ideas, manifestation ideas, whatever we want to call them, it's all the same thing. If you're trying to change how you feel from the inside out, okay? Because that's what most of this stuff comes down to. If you're trying to do that, you are going to face resistance and you're going to face discomfort. And so few people in this space want to own up to that. Because if they own up to that, what they're saying all of a sudden becomes non-glamorous. It's not quite as sexy when it's like, it's not manifest, this person back or all this money in 3 weeks, but it's like manifest the person you want or all this money or a more financially comfortable lifestyle in 3 years. That's like, ugh, I don't know if I want to do that. It's like, go through the discomfort and all the ups and downs and learn to accept yourself more in the process and feel better about the process over a multiple year time. A little bit less sexy than, manifest whatever you want in 72 hours or whatever hog shit people are selling you online. And make no mistake, guys, be incredibly critical of all these people selling you manifestation courses and all this bullshit, and then being like, oh, I did it, it's so easy. They're selling you something, okay? They're selling, and it's fine to sell stuff, but like, are they credible? Are they to be trusted? Are they telling you what seems like the truth, right? Be discerning about all this shit. Again, the Law of Attraction Simplified. I talk about that a lot in that book. All of these teachings, pretty much, all of them, when it comes to the manifestation stuff, there's this big gap that I have yet to really see a manifestation teacher discuss well. People like Neville are incredibly, eloquent, right? You could say someone like Abraham Hicks is eloquent in their own way even, right? And a lot of these other teachers are eloquent, but they're also dogmatic in the language they use. If you actually met them, they were perhaps not dogmatic, and they were understanding of kind of the resistance that you felt and how your body felt, and how your body and mind are actually not always kind of on the same page, and you have to work through that. And when I work with clients one-on-one, that's one of the main things we're doing, is working through body-mind incoherence and making it so they're coherent and working together, right? If you met Neville back in the day, there's a good chance that, he would help you with that in some way. But when you read or listen to his lectures, there's none of that. It's much more like you just, go to the state and that's it. And if you're not at that state, you're doing something wrong is the implication. And the way people interpret Neville's teachings or Abraham Hicks, that's a more loaded subject because I don't think, it's quite as good teachings. But the way they go about it is like, if you don't feel good, if you're not in the state, if you're not, at the right place energetically, it means there's something wrong with you. You're doing it wrong. This is how you do it, and you're doing it wrong. And that is just, again, that's an incredibly shame that shames anybody who's trying to integrate these teachings, because anybody who is trying to integrate manifestation teachings is going to run up against resistance and run up against difficulty and failure. And if you interpret most of these teachings at face value, the answer when you run up against the failure is like, well, this stuff works and you're doing it wrong. Which is fucking insane, guys. That's shitty teaching. And that is the flaw of a lot of these great manifestation teachers. Abraham Hicks, Neville, if you like Joe Dispenza or whatever, all these different people, right? The OGs we talk about, H.M. Lee Cady, Emile Coué, Joel Goldsmith, Joseph Murphy, Catherine Ponder, people like that. It gets to a point where it's like, my body feels uncomfortable. I don't feel safe. And the general advice, if you don't feel safe, at least if you look at it only superficially, is like, well, that's your problem. You have to fix that. And you're like, how the fuck do I fix it? You haven't told me how to fix it. You say live in the end, but how am I supposed to actually stay in the end? They don't instruct you about how to actually work through the resistance most of the time. And you have to kind of parse the stuff, like study it to actually figure that out, or go to other lineages and spiritual and psychological teachings. Like for me, I had a Zen background, a non-dual background. So it was much easier for me to parse this stuff and see like what worked for me with the manifestation stuff and what did not. And I say this in the Law of Attraction Simplified. What's difficult for most people who get into these manifestation ideas is they think, oh, this teacher must be right about everything or about a lot of stuff. And the truth is, no one's right about a lot of stuff. You can be brilliant about some stuff, and you're a fucking moron when it comes to most things. Look at someone like Elon Musk, for instance, right? And these manifestation teachers, a lot of the time, they make it seem like, I understand the universe and everything in it, right? The truth is, as great as Neville was, 80% plus of what he says is horseshit. And that goes for everybody. That, of course, goes for Papa Bear Tim, too. But if you don't look at these teachings through that lens and realize that most of these teachers are not going to help you work through resistance, and that you have to figure out how to work through resistance in some way, and that's probably not going to be through what these manifestation teachers say, you're in trouble, because you're going to feel ashamed and feel like you're doing it wrong and other people are doing it right, and there's something flawed with you. Guys, nobody is doing it right, as I always say. The truth of the matter is 95% plus of people are failing integrating these ideas in any type of way that fulfills them, okay? Let me say that again. 95% of people are absolutely failing integrating these manifestation ideas in a way that is fulfilling to them. All that stuff you hear online is hype and bullshit. It is fucking bullshit. Okay? Remember that. If you take nothing else from this video, remember that. For most of us, when we face resistance, one of the most powerful things we can do, and this is where the really good teachers point at this. Neville at his finest points at this. Emmett Fox points at this when he talks about this in The Golden Key. And the great teachers like Joel Goldsmith or H.M. Lee Cady, they talk about it a lot. The solution usually, if we're going to use manifestation terms and not go to, like non-dual stuff or like self-inquiry, or even like the self-inquiry, the work of Byron Katie, for instance, or use psychological therapeutic modalities like IFS, internal family systems, or focusing, Eugene Gendlin's, modality or recommendations for dealing with mind-body coherence, right? And feeling more okay working through resistance. If we're not going to use these other fucking fantastic things that, quite frankly, we probably want to be exploring, if we're going to stay in the manifestation realm, we have to get deep and look at what these teachers were applying when they got real fucking deep. Emmett Fox, The Golden Key. Stop thinking about your problems and think about God instead. H. Emily Cady labeled this trustful passivity. What that means is your resistance, your flaws, the I'm not doing this right, there's something wrong with me, is not true. That's just when we're thinking about it in that way. When we stop thinking about our flaws or resistance in that way and stop looking at things in the way where like something is right, something's wrong, something's good, something's bad, but are just one, when we become still, we recognize God. We are God. We are one with God, one with the Father, you could say, right now. And that often, when we can't move through resistance, where we feel like we're not getting where we want to be, we're not demonstrating what we want in the 3D, the solution almost always, if we're going to use manifestation language, is be still and know that I am God. Again, that's what H. Emily Cady, Joel Goldsmith, all their stuff's pointing back to that. Neville at his finest, pointing to that. Joseph Murphy, Catherine Ponder. And when we do that, it's, again, to paraphrase Eugene Gendlin, it's murky. It's murky. You might be sitting for 20, 30 minutes and you're just with a feeling. And that's okay. And you might be sitting, trying, quote unquote, trying to contemplate God, who's always here. God is always here. The universe is always here. Whatever you want to call it, your highest frequency is always here. And it might seem unattainable or like it's not here, but it's always here. And sometimes we just have to sit for days or weeks, not necessarily sit the whole day, but be in that state of kind of just being still inwardly, even as we're going about our day, where there's no clear solution, but we know we are one with God the whole time, even in the murkiness. And if we do that, eventually, only always, something shifts. And the solution, the answer we were looking for comes to us, an insight comes to us. This is a more mature way of applying these law of assumption and law of attraction and manifestation ideas than virtually anything you're going to hear on YouTube. And again, it's probably easier if we're doing stuff like, focusing or absolute listening. I'll put a link below to a video I did about the absolute listening model of Gendlin, because it will help you do this in your own life. It helps us if we use these different modalities to enable us to be still, to feel comfortable in the murkiness, going to the murky edge, and just waiting in trustful passivity, as H. Emily Cady said. If God is already here, if God is here the whole time, what's the problem? In my opinion, in my experiences working with other people and working on myself over the years, this is a more mature and grounding and fulfilling approach to these manifestation ideas than the more sensationalist stuff we hear every day on YouTube. If you want help, you know where to find me. Again, you can get a free copy of The Law of Attraction Simplified in the link below. Until next time, be still.